going to be a clash between two champion of champions. One who was required to be goaded into speaking, the other who needed to be told to shut up. But both of them, wonderful people to have on stage. Mahesh Murthy is an entrepreneur, marketer, investor, speaker with a following over 4 lakh across various social platforms. How many over here think I need to introduce Kari Sriram to you? Kari's latest achievement is that he's a novelist whose third novel is made it, first edition out of print, The Autobiography of a Mad Nation. He's he's a prolific writer, speaker. Okay, what do I say? I'll leave it to him. And Farhan, he will moderate this day's event.
Okay, I will lay out how the debate is going to be conducted now. We are going to have 2 speeches in which both the sides will present their arguments. These are the speeches which will lay out the arguments. Each one of them will last for 12 minutes. This is followed by the rebuttals. I invite Mahesh, the proponent, to present his case.
Good afternoon, everybody. Chairman, my respected opponent and members of the House. I'm not either an orator or a great student of history, but I was reading something interesting the other day. In 1588, a group of merchants called the Company of Merchants wanted to spread their trade out from England, and they lost in a battle called the Battle of the English Armada. And they decided to make their way over to India. They tried for 12 odd years and they failed repeatedly till they went to the Queen of England, spent 68,000 pounds, treated her well, buttered her up, and pretty much said, give us an exclusive license to develop the peoples of India. On December 31st, 1600, she did. And this group called the Company of Merchants came to India then. It's interesting now that about 415 odd years later, in 2014, a group of merchants came from Silicon Valley and came to India and said, we have this thing called internet.org. Let us develop the people of India. About 12 lakh of us voted a year or so ago and rebuffed them. But they went back. And as per the reports I read in the papers today, spent 300 crore rupees, about $16 million, and on press advertising, on buttering up the King of India, a certain Narendra Modi, by hugging him in public and doing various other things at Mountain View in California, and came back and said, give us an exclusive license to exploit the people of India because we want to develop the people of India. We're there at that state right now. What is the background to this entire thing? Why is there this big thing? I mean, after all, Facebook wants to give something free, but let's go through the basics out here. As the chair has said, the internet has developed largely without a center, but Facebook wants to create a small center out here. But let's take the background for that. And why is it I believe that this idea is bad for India? You must really see out here that what is at the basis of this is why we are appealing to the government as a bunch of private citizens with no commercial interest whatsoever that this free basics effort be stopped. The truth of the matter here is the license to Spectrum. We have a few natural resources in the country. We have oil, we have coal, we have natural gas, we have water, and we have Spectrum. Of these, all of these belong to the people of India, and the government of India licenses them out to various companies based on some terms and conditions. And those terms and conditions are always designed in such a way that they help develop as much of India as possible for as low a cost as possible. You don't just go and license your oil to somebody and say you can export it without giving it back to India, right? We have licensed our Spectrum reasonably successfully over the last 10-15 years. We have created the world's greatest telecom revolution, getting 1 billion connected devices in India, in a country of 1.2 billion. Out of these 1 billion connected devices and mobile phone connections, we have about 700 million people online, and 350 million of those are already on the internet. And because of that, and because of our policy of what is called net neutrality, I'll just simplify it. What basically means is that the government of India has so far basically told the telcos, what you got to do is when you offer the internet, you can't really prioritize one site over the other. You can't give something free and you can't charge more for something, right? Which is then meant that anybody anywhere has equal access to YouTube. That farmer down there can go and see a video on YouTube on how to grow his crops. He can go and check out something. He can, as you probably know, anybody, even your maids, servants and farmers, everybody uses WhatsApp to pass images back and forth. This same person can go and his kid can go and watch a video on Pythagoras' theorem on Khan Academy. This farmer can get an email account, get an inbound order. He can apply for a job. He can look for a job for his son, education, so on and so forth. This policy has held us in great and good stead. But now we come to the company of merchants which has come back from overseas that says, what we'd like to do is actually cartel off a small part of the internet. They came last year with 14 sites. This year they've come back with 40 or 50 odd sites. And so these we will offer to the people of India for free. But there's a catch. It will go on public spectrum that belongs to the people of India. And what really happens is this. It's not theory. The fact is that we are in legal limbo right now because even though the motion was rebuffed in India, there was no law passed against us. For the last 1 year, Facebook Free Basics has been there in India. And here are the results from Facebook itself on their own free basics in India so far in the last 1 year, right? Just so you know, a week or two ago they were stopped again. But till then, from the last declared results, they had 1 million people who had entered Facebook Free Basics. Out of this, that is 10 lakh people, 8 lakh people were already the rich who had already paid for the internet before and hence was not the target audience. So leave that aside. 200,000 people, 2 lakh people were the poor, unconnected who came on to Facebook Free Basics. 110,000 of them left. We don't know why, but it was a free product. If you leave a free product, I can only imagine they left because they found it worthless, because the collection of sites out there, there's nothing very much in language, nothing. There's Facebook and there's Wikipedia and there's no other site in the top 45 in India. Out of the remaining 90,000, 80,000 decided that it wasn't worth it and decided to pay and go to the full internet. As of right now, 10,000 people are there on free basics in India. And to get this to happen, Facebook has spent 300 crore rupees to get 10,000 people online. Facebook claims that it wants to get the poor of India online. If that was really true, even if they bought, if they bought 3G connections for people in India for a year at prevailing rates, they could have gotten 15 lakh people online for the entire year with the 300 crores they have spent to get 10,000 people online. If they wanted to offer 2G connections to all of India, paying commercial rates, they could have gotten 1 crore people online for an entire year with the money they have spent, that they got spent to get 10,000 people in Facebook jail, which is what I call this entire part. Facebook has been out there. Mark Zuckerberg came out there, a few weeks ago and said, look at the story of this particular farmer, blah, blah, blah. It turned out that the farmer was on the internet 3 years before he got to free basics. Now they're talking about Ganesh, the poor man gets onto the internet. But what is the price we are paying for this? Why should we give away our spectrum to a company which is out there to jail our people out there in a group of sites where they're held? Facebook says, you know what, any other site can come and join us, but there are terms and conditions. One, that all data from every other site, whether it's Google or Twitter, if it was to come onto free basics, has to go through a Facebook server. A smaller site, all Facebook servers are monitored by the NSA, if that means anything to you. But let's even put paranoia aside, right? If Google was to offer this service, do you think Facebook would say, yes, my traffic can go through Google and Google can read my traffic? Facebook insists that all personally identifiable data shall go unencrypted. So this person can't buy something, can't get an email, can't do anything, because all this traffic has to go through Facebook. This is yet another attempt at creating a small monopoly out here. Why should we let them? Right? If it's really about the bringing of the people of India online, first of all, you must realize that they need a 2,000 rupee mobile phone to be able to access the internet. The cheapest internet package in India, a 2G package, is 28 rupees a month from BSNL. You can get it. I humbly submit that most people who can afford a 2,000 rupee mobile phone can afford a 28 rupee a month package, which is 1 rupee a day, to access the internet. You don't need to be able to you don't need to be able to go and subscribe to a free package to get 10,000 of our people locked up. Let's go about what are the bigger negatives out here. The issue out here is really that if we were to allow this one case, now imagine that Twitter would say, I want to create my own micro network, like Facebook has. Google was to say, I want to create my own micro network, Rediff was to say, I want to create my own. What are we going to have? We're going to have a balkanized and broken up India. Because the people who are in the Facebook micro network cannot talk to the people on the Twitter micro network, cannot talk to the people on the Google micro network. This one internet that has really helped all of us develop is going to be broken up into small islands owned by different parts of corporate India. Why should we let this happen on Indian government spectrum? We should not. My humble submission out here is it does not take a lot of money to get most of the people of India online. All we have to do, and the price of bandwidth has been coming down. We've done really well so far in being able to have policy that makes sure that the internet is equally available to all of us. Imagine this, for that Ganesh that Zuckerberg talks about, Ganesh can't get an email account because he's on free basics. He can't apply for a job because he's on free basics. He can't get somebody giving him an order because he's on free basics. Of course, what he can do is he can go and throw a sheep at somebody in the next village, and he can go poke somebody in the next zilla, right? The reason for this is Facebook's value out here that it gets is in the data it collects from our people of India, all right, and not for what goes through that particular data. For people to get onto the full and wide internet, for that farmer's kid to be able to see a video on Khan Academy, he has to not be on free basics. For that farmer to be able to go out on Google and find whatever the price of grain, what can he sell his Kharif and Rabi crops at, he cannot do that on free basics. We now have a situation out here where a bunch of us, call us activists, we have no corporate affiliation whatsoever, are out there fighting to tell the government of India, listen, what happens on a private network, I don't care. If Facebook has 5 wires going into 5 computers, it's perfectly fine. You can only go and show Facebook and the other 41 sites that you want to show. But on government spectrum that belongs to the government of India, we must have a policy that anybody who licenses government spectrum should offer the internet in full equally to everybody on that. The cost isn't very high. The government can subsidize it. Indeed, Google has gone and now said that 100 railway stations will have absolutely free internet access for everybody. Microsoft is on the side of free basics, is on the side of the free internet saying, we will come and offer this absolute full free wide access to the internet for everybody. There are 5 others, people in the world who are ready to offer the full internet access to everybody in India. Facebook is the only one that says it has to be only Facebook plus our selected sites that we select and that we have the ability to block anybody else from coming on, that all the data has to go through us and we have to see the data unencrypted. I just remind you back, 415 years ago, the Queen of England allowed this company of merchants to come into India. This company of merchants was renamed the East India Company. India suffered for 400 years since. We are at least 2 generations behind the rest of the world, because the East India Company came to develop the people of India. The first plant in India was in Machilipatnam, not far from here, to develop the people. We don't want such development. We don't want this East India Company coming back again. This time we are not Queen Victoria. And this time, my request to the people of India, to the government of India and to this house is that we must absolutely stop this particular colonial force from coming and exploiting our people again. Our people need the absolute full access to the entire internet. That's what we're fighting for. I hope you will join me in this fight. Thank you very much.
These few minutes of silence that I had at the start dedicated to 800 million voiceless people of India, not Facebook. One of my favorite detectives, Hercule Poirot, in a very good Agatha Christie novel says, nearly at the end of the murder mystery, my dear friend, do you see this picture? Do you see this picture and find something is wrong? I do something is very wrong here. Who will decide whether Facebook can give free internet, what is it, we'll come to in a minute, or not, is decided by PRAI, and it asks opinion of all of you nice, wise people who rose your hand through email. Whether people should have internet or not for the first time in my life is a question that will be decided by this country through email. So what happens to those who don't have email? This is a debate of 300 million people who are already on internet, and they will decide people who do not have internet will be given internet or not. Did you ask through town hall meetings in small towns and villages? Did you ask in Hindi? Did you ask in Telugu? No, English, Facebook and emails. Thank you so much. You have made sure that 800 million people of my country don't even have a voice in this issue, and I thought they matter too. There was, I think, a poet who said, है अपना हिंदुस्तान कहाँ वह बसा हमारे गाँव में, है अपना इंटरनेट कहाँ फंसा वह फंसा आपके मेट्रो शहरों में. And you don't want to let go. And I'll tell you why. Because all of us middle class are hypocrites. Absolute hypocrites. 14 years I heard internet in this country. Free internet, cheap internet, fast internet, faster internet. There was never the word neutrality at all. Internet fast milega, cheap mein milega, free mein milega. Suddenly neutrality. It is like recycle, organic. 3 years ago everything recycle. Now it's organic. Now it's neutral. Oh my God, all of you are neutral activists. There is a Telugu saying that aptly summarizes our emotion. Amma tinnadu, adukkonivadu. Mummy will not give me food, will not let me beg in the neighborhood either. And what is that? Gated community. For 25 years you have thrown out people from villages and outskirts of town, build walled physical buildings for yourself. First time Mark Zuckerberg, somebody from Menlo Park comes and wants to build a small walled community for the poor of the country, and middle classes of this country are opposed to walled gated communities. My former boss, Mr. Nandan Nilekani, spoke yesterday and said, free basics is a violation of internet. Any internet that must be given must be full. Do you know the kind of internet Infosys employees get? Do they get free basics, Facebook, Google? I was an employee, they did not get. In Infosys cannot give its employees a full internet. Mark Zuckerberg on charity basis must give it to all the people of India. Is it fair that Mahesh Murthy and Nandan Nilekani and Nikhil Pahwa will decide the future of the people of my country who do not have any voice at all? And you think these poor people, they must not get bad internet. They don't get good schools, they don't get good hospitals, they have schools and colleges without teachers, they have hospitals without doctors. Was there electricity neutrality, 24 hours of power supply in cities, 9 hours in villages? You never bothered. Suddenly you all wake up, oh, the poor people must get absolutely the most fantastic internet that he and I have. And look at the beauty of this debate. You've all risen hands. Facebook will be asked to kick out its free basics tomorrow. What will happen? You and I will still be on internet. Those poor people, including Ganesh, will not be. You have power without responsibility. How good is that? I feel sad. I feel sad there is no Gandhi in this country who would have gone and sat outside Try building and said, I will not eat food, I will not drink till every Indian is on internet. What is the quality of the internet? We'll talk about later. None of you bothered about free internet. How many of you have made a Facebook page 4 years back saying, let's give internet to everybody in this country? Nobody has done. Which corporate has said, as part of my CSR, I'll connect 100 Indians? Infosys, HCL, Mahesh Murthy? No. To hell with them, they don't exist because they can't like me, they can't blog, come and retweet me, so I don't care about them. And today suddenly they have become the biggest focus of our conversation because what stems is a hatred for success. And that's because you have bad celebrities. In India, when somebody succeeds, what does he do? He gets drunk, drives a Qualis, kills people, gets off. That is your celebrity done. You cannot understand how somebody can earn $100 billion and come and throw it to make some people connected for some while and hope to make the next jump. What is the solution, sir? Let these poor people wait for a little more, let them earn money, then they can buy 28, 25 rupees. They don't have money, this is the point. Wait a little. How long will we wait? We haven't got water, electricity, roads, as I said, and now you are saying wait for internet also. This is the problem. Internet can also help you earn when you are poor. I know some of you are feeling very bad that drivers on Uber are making more money than software engineers. You are actually afraid. You are actually afraid. You are afraid that the poor people will come and be there on LinkedIn and add a connection to your boss and he'll see they are smarter than IITians and IIMs. And that is your secret fear. But let me tell you this, I have not come here to win a debate. Not with the great Mahesh Murthy. I don't want to... No, I seriously mean it. I am nobody. And the problem with this debate is we have begun to behave like parliament. We have taken public positions because I have said I hate free basics. It's difficult to go back. I have actually had a friend, if you support free basics, I will unfriend you. The power of Facebook's networking has helped create, and you spoke of lot of data and numbers. I am not a big guy, I am not a big data man. I'll give you one small data. Number of people who have left Facebook to protest against free basics in India, 0. The whole fight against free basics is happening on Facebook. National resource. Let's divide it. I give you 80% of the public thing, Mahesh. Run it the way you want. 20% reserve it for Facebook, Google, Rediff, anybody who comes. The only 2 conditions must be that 20% will be free of cost to connect people who have never been connected. You know, recently Lamakan was closed. There's an order to close it. 4 days later, government withdrew its order. Do you know why? Power of the internet. Today, if a protest happens in the village, they don't even have a Facebook page to protest if their land is taken away. We have an option of calling Mark Zuckerberg here to Lamakan and saying, we will allow free basics if you allow every poor man who gets connected through free basics to have a government to citizen interface. 5 websites where he can write an email or send a message to the Prime Minister, CM, anybody. That power to influence public policy today lies with internet. Today middle classes are more powerful because whatever candlelight march you want to do, there's a Facebook, there's a Lamakan, you come, you don't want this to be given to them. And am I going to tell my farmer, sorry buddy, you will miss the Thomas Piketty lectures of TED on YouTube, sorry. Wait 10 years. No, sir. Give me something. General Foy, the French general who went to fight in America against England, saw the liberty there, saw the movement of Americans, came back and gave a very famous speech that's called the tennis court oath, which led to the French Revolution. He described the poor people of France and said, who is the third estate? Nearly everybody. What do we have? Nothing. What do we want? Something. Give us 20 websites to get started. And don't forget, when you all began surfing the internet for the first time, you didn't have 10 billion sites either. You had a BSNL black and white shell which did not have image. Life grows. Free basics is a beta, is a startup, is a paradigm idea. Anybody who's into startups knows that it develops, it evolves. I've come here to beg you, Mahesh. Beg all of you. Give the poor people in my country a chance. Last time a foreigner came with love for poor people in India was not Robert Clive, it was Mother Teresa. You're supposed to laugh at that. But the most important thing, people often ask, will there be a next Mark Zuckerberg? Who will he or she be from? Where will they be from? I will tell you this. I hope sense will prevail. I really hope we will all be big enough to understand that killing free basics is not the way ahead. I hope each one of you can close your eyes today now and visualize 10 years from today. A little Indian girl standing there in front of the global media and saying, I am the next Bill Gates, who was supposed to dominate the world and rule us. He's disappeared. Then came Google will rule the world. No. So visualize this little girl from India who will be the next big thing on the face of this earth. And she will, I hope, tell you that day, I experienced my first ever internet on free basics. Thank you all for giving me that chance. Thank you.
The debate that we had today, free basics is bad for India. Just another thing that struck my mind with which I'll sign off as I thank Mahesh, as I thank Sriram, as I thank me and the rest at Lamakan, thank Farhan too. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.